So after going over the lesson and seeing what your students did, their struggles, their expectations of the lesson, your expectations, I would like to know what is one thing, one strategy that you would use if you had to do this lesson again?
To do this lesson again, I would definitely say to make it a practice of asking more questions, allowing them to ask more questions, put it like that. Because when I allow them to ask more questions, it allows me to know how to drive my lesson and to see what it is that they know and can actually what they've conceived and what they understand from it. Now with that, it lets me know, do I need to scaffold down a little bit, or do I need to assign more assignments with the scientific terms, vocabulary? Do I need to work more with the student one-on-one? Are they able to bring the work out that they've learned? And then two, once I allow them to ask the question, or when I ask them questions, allow them to be the time to be able to answer the question and to think about the question or the concept that they're trying to convey to me of their understanding or their misunderstanding. Because a lot of times when it tells us that this is the misunderstanding, this is normally what the misunderstanding is, and to make sure that that's something that we make sure that we don't overlook or allow them to think when it's actually not that, and to give them clarity on what it is that they should know from the process or what they're learning.
And it's very important, like you were saying, you know, to give them the wait time, because what the wait time does when they're actually working in groups or with partners, it allows them to have like an inner circle or a small discussion before they actually share out with the whole crowd. So it also helps them to construct viable arguments.
Right. Yeah, and that would, and they actually do that, because then I would hear some students saying, well, no, it's not like that, and they were like, yes it is, and then they would prove it to each other, and it would be, it's awesome to see, and then they come to me, so you know, and they want to know who's right, and then usually they collectively get it right together. Some may have misconstrued a certain part or left out a certain part of the process of maybe the water cycle, or learning how important the bottom of the ocean is and how volcanoes erupt and things like that. But it's wonderful to see. But I just need to make sure that I allow for myself asking questions and for them to ask questions themselves of what it is they need, what more they need to know, or you know, what they need for the collaborative support, and what can help them go to the extra mile.
And one thing you might consider when you're asking questions, you piggyback off of questions that they ask, and then you direct the feedback questions to the whole group. And that way it brings in the other students. They think about the question and then they're able to answer. And you turn a small group into a whole group collaboration.
And that's usually the awesome thing, because when we started out as the I do part, and then we start doing, and then I let them break off or do their independent work, and then they come back to show what it is that they have with the groups. It's so interesting to know or to see that this person, this group thinks this way because, and it usually it's because of experience, of the reason why they think certain things happen the way that they do. And like we talk about the climate and the weather and the respect of knowing or not knowing to join into the conversation. So
so when you look at the overall structure of your lesson and how it was implemented, give me one glow and one grow.
As far as a glow, I would say that it looks amazing when the students achieve, and when they know that they have achieved, and when they know they have learned something differently, because they talk more about it, they dive deeper in their explanation. They also, I feel like I have reached them, and then I quickly write things down sometimes, because I want to make sure that I'm going where they need me to go, or coming to them with a concept that helps them to easily understand. So if I need to ask more questions, or if I need to give them some paper and some color pencils in order to give me a better explanation, or if they need to do something on technology, you know, whatever way that they learn it, I want to make sure that I go there and help them and give them the resources to be able to learn the concept, the learning targets. So I try to be more innovative to make sure I meet them where they need to be, and then take them higher than where they are, and help them to grow in it, and not be afraid of, you know, the challenge that comes with it.
So for this lesson, what is one glow that you felt like you met?
Well, I felt like that it's okay. I felt like I did good with increasing the rigor, because even starting out at a proficient level, I want to take them to the next step. So I always want to make sure that I safely challenge them to be higher, and I think I did well, because the process can be hard, and whether it be talking about the earth, the way that the sun moves and what it does, and I don't want them to fail, but I allowed them to see it, try to achieve it, accept the challenge. If they don't do so well, you know, we go back and see what we need to do different. So I'm doing better as I feel like I'm doing better as I challenge them more.
Okay.
And you know, because I want to put a net up under them, but sometimes I gotta let them fall, but they're not falling far, and I'm gonna go and help them scoop it up, and we're gonna bring it up even higher.
Okay, so what is one grow?
A grow, I would say, just that I need to be kind of, I need to step away, you know, be a little more hands off, be okay with allowing them to take the time to think and give me the explanation that they're looking to gather. Maybe they don't really have it right there, or maybe I could say, how about I give you 2 minutes, and then let me know you're ready, and I'll come back to you and you give me the answer. I don't want to just, you know, try to help them or be their handicap or their crutch when they may have it. I don't want to take it away from them that they didn't already have it, because sometimes allowing them to see that I knew I had it, I just needed a minute, I needed to find it. So I don't want to you know, take that moment away from them, and just give them more time to answer or more time to explain. And I think, because I don't want to be so quick with it, give them time to stop and think, just like I need to stop and think.
I like the wait time, because again, we talked about that earlier, how it helps them to construct viable arguments when they have the time to actually think about their answer before they outright answer.
Right.
So this was seemed to be a really good lesson, and I like your strategy. I like your self-reflection.
Okay.
And so the next time when I come, I would love to see one of the strategies that you talked about, especially the wait time. I want to see how you implement that. So in your next lesson, that's a good thing that you might consider doing. Do you have any questions?
When is a good time to, so sometimes I use graphic organizers. And I kind of feel like I need a better way of teaching the students how to use a graphic organizer, because with some, they feel like they have to limit it to just that. You know, and I tell them, turn it over, draw you another circle, blend your circles together, or do a T-chart or three different a table with 3 different sections. But what is a safer way, a more productive way of assisting students with graphic organizers? Because that usually is something that everybody wants to use. However, sometimes I don't feel like the students are really understanding that it can definitely help them with their thoughts. I might not be saying it right. I probably need to.
So when you're actually using graphic organizers, and this is just a suggestion, a lot of times what graphic organizers do, they help you to remediate the students, because every student won't need a particular graphic organizer. Say for instance, you have students who are proficient or even distinguished, they might not use a graphic organizer, but it's a good idea to actually have a variety, because what that does is give them voice and choice in how they're utilizing those graphic organizers. And one thing too about graphic organizers, it helps students chunk text.
Okay.
So it's a good framework for the students, but a good thing, again, you know, to do with those is to allow the students to be the facilitators in deciding whether they need one or not. And I like how you said, I guess variety. Allow them to choose their own or make their own.
Okay. That sounds good. I've seen a lot, and then I feel like some can be a little complex. So I'm gonna continue to just have them available, and then you go get the graphic organizer that you want to help you take your notes. It's kind of like, you know, helping them with they do their Cornell notes, and sometimes a graphic organizer works better for them than notes, because they just write the notes, and then it's a whole
and they're like filling in the blanks. Yeah, it helps them to actually break down the text. It really does. But at, you know, some point in time, even though you're giving them and you're remediating with graphic organizers, you still want them to grow. You still want a rigorous environment. So it's almost like you're spoon feeding them, and then you're weaning them from the milk and the spoon. And they gotta move on to the next level.
Got it.
Because you don't want them to stay there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's almost like a quilt piece, because when they have those graphic organizers, it's like they're doing little chunks, then they're putting the pieces together.
Right.
And they're moving on to the next level. So yeah. And it's a good way to reassess as well.
Okay.
And even show progress monitoring. That's a good way. Graphic organizers are really good to use.
Got it.
Do you have any other questions?
So based off of this conversation, and the different answers or explanations that I've given, do you have any suggestions for adding value to what I can give to my students?
Now, the only suggestion as far as graphic organizers that I would give you, or even like strategies, don't overwhelm them and give them too many strategies at one time.
Okay.
I would advise and recommend that you do one strategy, one graphic organizer, and then see how that works during implementation. And that will help you once you assess whether you need to remediate and use something else, or it was working. But you do not want to overwhelm them with a variety, and just choose one strategy, and even one strategy per week.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions in regards to their motivating them when it comes to literacy? read
So,
more.
So I, the world is tech savvy now, and students are very tech savvy.
Yes.
So they're very motivated when you're actually incorporating technology into their learning.
Okay.
And there are so many different platforms where they can actually do science things, even STEM, online. I'm not sure I'm gonna go back and look. I got several websites that I could give you.
Okay.
And I'll get them to you, but there are several things they could actually do online. And then they could actually take virtual field trips to different countries or whatever, and look at the landscape, look at the weather, experience that. And as they're doing those things, you could actually have them to dress the role.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe you can have like different groups going to different countries and exploring and exploring the climate.
Okay.
And then bringing that back to the whole group, and then they share out their different country and the climate, or even states.
I like that. That's amazing. I like that. We've done the virtual because we went to outer space before when we started at the beginning of the year. So we took a virtual field trip into the galaxy. That we've done to the point where we've live streamed volcanoes erupting in Hawaii, things like that. But dressing the part,
and playing the role,
and
even when they go to the countries, have them to do a passport.
Oh yeah.
Because you want to incorporate real life skills, and if they got to fly from Hartsfield, Jackson, have them to do the itinerary, buy your ticket, the time, whatever time you want to get, how many days you're gonna stay.
Sounds fantastic.
And make sure they dress accordingly.
Got it.
Yeah. And then when they come back, what they can do too, they can do a presentation. They can make a brochure of their country, their visit, and present it to the class.
I'm doing that. I think I'm gonna do that as my year-end project. That's gonna be fantastic.
I would love to see that. Yeah, because they come dress the role or whatever they choose, whatever it is.
Right.
I mean, if they're going to sunny Caribbean or whatever, they need the sunglasses, the big the big hat, all of that.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start playing that now. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna dress the part too. I'm gonna have my passport.
And when y'all get ready, when they get ready actually to whatever day you all get ready to go and depart, everybody, they bring their carry-on bag.
Exactly.
Bag
I'm telling you, because I saw that with some smaller kids.
You did.
They brought them in and they checked their tickets, and so I'll check their tickets when they come in.
They go through customs.
There it is. Fantastic. I love it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You are the best.
and even like with the flights, the flight may be delayed because of the weather, because that happens all of the time.
Yes. Okay.
And then they'll have to explain what type weather delayed their flight. Yeah.
This is gonna be fantastic. Well, I think that's good. You got anything else for me?
Well, actually, I would love to come back and see when you implement the strategy.
Okay.
Next week, and I would also like to be I know I can't be a complete part of your trip, but when they get ready to play their role and go to another country, I would love to see that.
I'll definitely tell you.